Welcome, everyone, to episode number, and I did get this right because Cage and I got it wrong last week, and I actually mentioned this off the top. Episode number 7 of Polar Opposites. So, everyone, I'm Spencer Byers alongside Cajun Thiru Thani Castleum. Cajun, we messed up last week's episode. It was number 6. I only know that because I was editing it. I was getting ready to put it in, and I got to my RSS, and it said episode 5, and then nothing else. And I went, oh, so it's episode 6 I'm putting up. So the title was almost, and I don't think I went with this, 'cause I can't really remember, because I've done a lot of stuff the past 2 weeks. I was gonna put down, we thought it was 7, or something along those lines, and decided against it. So episode officially number 7 of Polar Opposites. Hello, everyone. We have been rather consistent with this one, Cajun, unlike Al and I, but in fairness to Big Al, he is full-time working, so his job obviously takes precedent over little old me, but we hope to get in the studio rather soon. But Cajun, let's kick it off quickly with Team Canada. We've talked about the FIBA World Cup coming up. They started exhibition games for the FIBA World Cup starting at the end of the month. And Canada loses 86-81 to Team Germany. They had a horrible first quarter, but were able to pick it up. They were down 27-14 after the first quarter. They lost even 3 more points after that in the second half. So bad first half altogether. Made a pretty good comeback later in the game. They ended up being tied 79-79 before they lost it, as I said, 86-81. So not a good start, but at least a good finish. And as most people tell you in the sports business, they don't ask you how you start, they ask you how you finish. And Canada ended pretty well. So, Cajun, and you actually ended up watching the second half. You did, from what you told me, Cajun. So, what were your takeaways from the half you had a chance to watch of Team Canada versus Team Germany?
Well, Jordy Fernandez, as I said last week, Jordy Fernandez said that this team was going to be a more physical team on the offensive and the defensive end, and it showed in stretches of that second half. Even to start off that third quarter, a 13-0 run to whittle a 16-point deficit to 3 just like that. RJ Barrett was getting to the rim, hitting threes, and the vibes are good during that third quarter. That even Dillion Brooks, as I like to call him, it's Dylan Brooks. Just like to call him Dillion Brooks, pulled up for a 3 in transition and actually made it. Mind you, he got booed. He got booed in Berlin, which was where this happened. Color me shocked, but it was also on the defensive end. They really pushed it out in transition, and it really showed how their offense was flowing in transition compared to in the half court, because that's where they sort of struggled down. That's when they sort of struggled. Once Germany stopped turning the ball over and got into their sets, it showed their half court offense, or their lack thereof, showed. Now give credit to Lou Dort and Nikhil Alexander Walker, and Lou Dort was knocking down like pull up threes like he's Steph. Um, but there's some good, and there was some good and bad from this game. You can see the talent, you can see the physicality, you can see stretches where there's not a lot of teams that can stop them. But you got to play a full 40 minutes, and based off of that first half, that ain't gonna cut it when the games really matter.
Yeah, but another thing, a good thing to mention here, again, it was just the first exhibition game. So Franz Wagner, the best German player in the world right now, he didn't start. SGA, probably the best Canadian player, and Shea Gilgeous-Alexander, he didn't start. So in fairness to both sides, they were not, quote unquote, at full strength. So that must have played a factor. And SGA wasn't even a top 4 scorer for Team Canada. Dort was first with 14. RJ Barrett was second for 12. And then Alexander Walker and Kelly Olynyk tied for 11 points, respectively, with third team scoring. So, obviously this wasn't a full strength Team Canada if Shea's not on the top 3 scorers, because he's going to be, if he's starting consistently and playing well, which we expect he will. But another thing to bring up here is Jamal Murray, I don't believe, was even on the bench for this game for Team Canada. At least I didn't see him on the box score on the score sheet. So, Cajun, do you think Jamal will play in the exhibition, or do you think they're going to hold him out because of the finals run till they get to prime time till the end of August?
Well, it's tough to say because he he came off of a long layoff in the first place heading into the prior NBA season because of a torn ACL. Then the Nuggets rested him in key stretches, had an uneven regular season, but the playoffs, it was the Jamal Murray we all knew. Literally took the pressure off of Jokic. They ended up making a run to the championship and they ended up winning the title. Now, for a guy that's coming off of a major knee surgery like that, if for anybody for anybody enough as it is to go through the grinds of a regular season and then play for your country, whether it's the FIBA World Cup or the Olympics, or just going through the grind of like regular season playoffs and then back to the regular season playoffs again, it's hard enough. It's hard enough as it is, which sort of amazes me how LeBron did it almost for the better part of a decade before he went to LA. So this is this is new. This is sort of new for Murray and for the Canadians because this is the most talented roster they've had in a while. And they've already lost some, and they've already had some guys that have dropped out from like the FIBA World Cup. Corey Joseph was one of them. Kevin Pangos, O'Shea Brissett, who wants to prepare for training camp and making an impression with the new team that he signed in the Boston Celtics. It's just I expect him to come for one of the exhibition games, but it'll probably be say one of those big games against Spain or at the very end against the Dominican Republic. I don't see him coming for the first three games, and he's gonna have to come for exhibition play because they've made it clear that Jamal Murray needs to play in exhibition games before playing in the FIBA World Cup and not hop right into it.
Well, Cage, I asked you if he will play in the games. Here's another way to spin it. Should he even play in these exhibition games? Because he has just had a really long playoff run, and you talked about how he's just coming off the ACL, and there are a lot of other factors that are factoring into this decision. But for him, should he even play in these games? Like, and I'm not even saying playing in the World Cup because obviously he's already said he plans to play in the World Cup. He's already in the Canadian team. He's a part of the Canadian roster. He obviously has intentions of playing, but should he even want to play in these games because of the strain it will have on his body? And obviously, again, these guys are going into an NBA season. This is basically a preseason for them after they're obviously the summer league, which none of them participate in, right? So this is basically a preseason for them at the end of the day.
Honestly, and this might be an unpopular answer, he will and he should. Now, given he went through the grind, he just won a title with the Denver Nuggets. But now with the Nuggets knowing that they have what it takes to win it all, they're not going to take the regular season as serious. So Murray's going to have ample opportunity to play limited minutes during the regular season to keep him fresh
quote unquote load management, Kajan. Load
management. Well, in fairness, Denver does have some injury-prone players. Murray being one of them, but he's played through it, and then Michael Porter Jr. Now, if this was any other team that needs a regular season, that he needs to play the regular season, he shouldn't be playing he should be playing in the exhibition and the World Cup. But granted that Denver is a very talented team and had just won the NBA title and now knows what it takes to get there, he's going to have ample opportunity to rest during the regular season. So I don't think exhibition play in the World Cup is really going to affect Murray down the line.
Well, Kajan, you continue to impress with your basketball knowledge as always. I quickly run to grab the next game for Team Canada at the exhibition of the World Cup. I'm trying to find the schedule because I found out, Cajun, and that's another gripe, and I will kind of talk about this now because we're kind of, I'm not saying we're short for topics, we definitely don't have as much as we did last week. You know,
Yeah.
the inability to find information on this exhibition World Cup is disgusting. I couldn't find scores, I couldn't find box scores, I couldn't find player stats. I couldn't find anything on these games. Like, if you didn't tell me these games happened, Cajun, the games didn't exist. There's nobody's got any amount of stats on. There's nobody's got any kind of box score on them. I can't even find the schedule for the preseason game, the exhibition games, rather. So like I can't even I can't even prove to you, if you were in my room right now, these games happened. I can't prove it. You just have to take my word for it. And all the articles that say it happened with the score.
And to be honest, I didn't even know about this until I got searching. Like, I was just like browsing along on my laptop at like 12. That's when I found out there was actually an exhibition game happening this afternoon, and it was on Magenta Sports Stream, which is a German stream, and it didn't work. The only way I got into it is that somebody put it on Twitter.
So what you're telling me is there was no Canadian stream for it. They only had the German stream for it.
And it was the only stream that they had.
Oh my goodness. What a surprise. Because like I'll say it, Sportsnet's the only one I've seen. I didn't even see a TSN article on it. I'm not saying they didn't make one. I'm saying I didn't see it. I saw the Sportsnet one, and it was kind of bare bones. Had a score, a couple facts. That was it. I had to go to like the fourth or fifth article to find any stat lines, and we only got top 4 scores from Canada. Like I can't, after Kelly Olynyk and Alexander Walker, I can't tell you who was on the score sheet. Genuinely, I have no idea. And Cajun, you watched the game. I don't think you have any idea. So like, not only because it wasn't in English, but because they're not showing it to us. So hopefully, one of the major sport providers in our country decide to start having a little bit more information on the team, because at this point, Cajun, as you and I stated, it is nigh impossible to figure out these exhibition games. I still haven't been able to find when the next exhibition game is. So we're going to say there is a next exhibition game. It is coming up. And there you go. I found the Spain one. Let's see if I can find the other one. That's Spain. That's August 17th though. Face Germany on the 9th in Berlin, and then they take head to Hamburg. They face New Zealand on the 12th, and then the 13th will either be Germany or China. Okay, so fact. So the 12th and 13th of August are the next games. New Zealand on the 12th, and the 13th is either Germany or China. Is what it looks like to me. And then they will play Spain the 17th, and DR, Dominican Republic, on the 18th of August. So I will keep that tab open on my computer so I don't have to look for it again. But just so you know, next game is the 12th and 13th. So this coming weekend, it'll be against New Zealand, and then the winner of Germany-China on the Sunday. And those are early games because they're in Germany. So the New Zealand game's at 9:45 Eastern Standard Time. And then I don't even know when the Sunday game would be. It'd still be to be determined. So that game will be whenever that game is supposed to start. But 9:45 against New Zealand on Saturday is Team Canada's next game at the World Cup exhibition. So
I will say this.
I finally found that.
I will say this about Team Canada and the exhibition play. And this might not be this isn't related to basketball, but if the player from the Canadian women's national soccer team was any indication, this men's basketball team got to step it up in quick. Because watching the women's team in Australia was hard to watch. And if the Canadian men's national basketball team doesn't get it together, we might be talking about an underwhelming World Cup.
A disappointing summer for Team Canada, if you will.
Mm-hmm.
That's across the board as you're talking about the Women's World Cup of soccer happening this summer that is, I believe, into the quarters. I'm not sure in the semis yet, but I believe they're into the quarters with some other big teams out as well as I believe Germany. I want to say Spain is through, but I believe Germany, the States, and Canada are all out right now. So those are
Yep.
3 top 10 countries right now not participating in the latter stages of the Women's World Cup. But
And
anyway,
two of them were out in the group stages.
yeah, I believe Germany was, and they were the second-ranked team in the world coming into this tournament. So rather big teams crashing out early. But now on to a topic we're not going to spend a whole lot of time on, Cajun, but the 2024 2K24 NBA ratings have been released, and these ratings mean nothing. They don't mean anything, but I do want to talk about them just because they do normally make a headline story because of just how ludicrous these ratings are. And I want to talk to you about what these current ratings are. Now, if you're 96 or above, you're a part of the, I'll say, diamond sector of the 2K ratings. There are 7 players inside those ratings, 5 of which are 97, 2 of which are 96. The 97s
I'm
are Jokic, Giannis, Luka, Joel Embiid, and LeBron James. So Nikola Jokic, Giannis Antetokounmpo, Luka Doncic, Joel Embiid, and LeBron James are all 97s. The 96s are Kevin Durant and Steph Curry.
wait, Jokic, Giannis, Luca.
Luka, Embiid, and LeBron James are all 97.
The fact that Embiid and Jokic are tied for a 97 is crazy.
And not only that, and then you've got Curry and Durant at 96s, and then just below them are Jason Tatum and Damian Lillard at 95s. And to round out the top 10, tied at 10 technically, is Shai Gilgeous-Alexander and Anthony Davis. And I'm not trying to overweight Shai here, but how is a first-team only NBA player up below a guy? And no offense to Damian Lillard, who is a great player, but didn't play half the year last year. How does that work?
Because it's 2K.
And Anthony Davis again, as we keep joking on this show, Data Davis. I mean, guy can't stay healthy. Jimmy Butler, who had arguably one of the greatest playoff runs we've ever seen, if not one of the greatest of the last decade or so, is a 93. John Morant's 92. Kawhi Leonard's 92. Zion Williamson's 92. Devin Booker's 92. My MVP pick, Donovan Mitchell's 92. And then it just keeps going down from there. And I'm not a big fan of these. I've never been a big fan of the 2K rating. 2K ratings are always kind of jank. But here's another good example. So in 87, there's a lot of 87s in the game. Chris Paul's an 87, Darius Garland's an 87, Bradley Beal's an 87, Zach LaVine's an 87, DeMar DeRozan's an 87, Bam Adebayo's an 87, Brandon Ingram's an 87, Pascal Siakam's an 87, Julius Randle, Mikal Bridges, Kristaps Porzingis, Jalen Brunson, and Jaren Jackson Jr. are all 87s. And I'm not going to try to make an argument for any one of those players individually. I'm just going to say out of that group of players, Kajan, they're not all the same. And I understand different games means different ratings, but like how is Zach LaVine and DeMar DeRozan the same rating as like a guy like Darius Garland? Or even Ingram or Siakam? Those guys are number 1 options on their teams.
Mm-hmm.
And then you got Kristaps Porzingis, who I'm a Celtics fan. I'm happy to see him at 87. How is he above Jalen Brunson, who had a great year for New York and pushed himself above a guy he's tied with rating, Julius Randle, in the New York Knicks? How is Brunson and Randle rated the same when Brunson showed himself as the alpha of that team?
Brunson's been underrated, not only in 2K but in the NBA circles as well. If you're telling me that Randall got an All-NBA, not an All-Star nod over Brunson, that's just ludicrous to me. But that's not really much of a surprise to me. The bigger surprise, and I'm looking at the NBA 2K Twitter right now, it's actually Jokic that has the highest rating in 2K24. He's at a 98.
Oh, well, see, I'm looking at the 2K top 100 current players in 2K24, and it says he's 97. So maybe
I'm
your
looking
list
at
is more update than mine.
2K's Twitter.
I'm looking at 2K ratings, the website.
No,
So
so
I'm gonna take yours
um,
I'll take yours. So 80, so 97, 98. But still, I mean, it makes sense that Jokic is the best player in the world, but there's still a really close knit group behind him.
and Booker's a 94, and Butler's a 95.
Oh, so
At
they've
least from
really
what,
changed the ratings after what I'm looking at.
yeah. So Jokic is a 98. Giannis, LeBron, Embiid, Durant, Curry, all at a 96 each. Luca, Tatum, Butler, 95.
Oh, they dropped
Kawhi,
Luca too.
Booker, Leonard, 94.
Not sure when this list then was updated because this is the no, I guess I had to click it. So no, I officially now have the current as you're reading right now rating. So yeah, Jokic, then Giannis, Durant, LeBron, Curry, Embiid, and then I like where Tatum is. I think Butler may be a little overrated. I'm not sure he should be where Tatum is, but regardless, Shea's right there. I think he should be above Lillard. That's just my opinion.
Shea's not
Um,
even there.
Shea's 11th. He's 94, tied with Anthony Davis and Devin Booker. He's
Okay.
just below Lillard. He should be above Lillard. I do now have the updated ratings now. Jaylen Brown's still on 90, which I am happy about. I saw that earlier. I am happy he is that. But I do want to mention, so you know that giant list of 87s I told you, Cajun?
Yeah.
They're the exact same. So I was wrong at the very top, but these 87s are the exact same. Chris Paul, Darius Garland, Bradley Beal, Zach LaVine, DeMar DeRozan, Bam Adebayo, Brandon Ingram, Pascal Siakam, Julius Randle, Mikal Bridges, Kristaps Porzingis, Jalen Brunson, and Jaren Jackson Jr. are all the same rating. Another thing I want to mention here quickly. So a bunch of 86s, among them, Anthony Edwards. And guess who he's tied with, Cage? And guess who Anthony Edwards is tied with at 86?
The greatest big man shooter of all time.
The quote unquote greatest big man shooter of all time, if you ask him, Karl Anthony Towns, who has an 80 or 79 shooting three, by the way, just to make sure I mention that in the 2K rating, tied with Jaren Jackson Jr. So I'm not sure what these 2K ratings are doing. I'm not
2K
sure.
sounds like 2K got lazy after the top 10.
Yeah, after about the top 15, they said, you know what? Who cares? And just started splatting guys around. Because how in the
They,
world Jalen Brunson and Julius Randle are tied is ridiculous. How Ant and Karl Anthony Towns are tied is ludicrous. How Lauri Markkanen's an 86, I don't know. How is Lauri Markkanen tied with Karl Anthony Towns?
I
That is
don't know,
like
man.
stupid, absolutely stupid. And the ratings from there just continue to get just kind of murky.
L- let me ask for just for a giggle. Is
Oh
Rudy
God.
Gobert an 87?
No,
Oh, thank goodness.
I just saw him. He's an 84.
Oh.
Tied with Paolo Banchero, Cade Cunningham, Jalen Green, Josh Giddey, Tyrese Maxey, Tyler Hero, Jamal Murray, Jordan Poole, Franz
Murray.
Wagner.
Well, hold on. Time out. Murray's an 84?
Murray's an 84. The list of 84s, Cajun, goes as Cade Cunningham, Jalen Green, Josh Giddey, Paulo Banchero, Rudy Gobert, Tyler Hero, Tyrese Maxey, DeJounte Murray, CJ McCollum, Jamal Murray, Jordan Poole, Franz Wagner, Jared Allen, DeAndre Ayton, Nikola Vucevic, and Nicholas Claxton.
Poole's on the same level as Murray? What are we doing?
And apparently Tyrese Maxey and Tyler Hero.
See, Maxey and Hero, there's more of a plausible case than Jordan Poole.
But I mean, like, they're all rated the same, Cajun. Poole, Murray, Maxey, and Hero are all rated the same.
2K. Somebody got to give Ronnie 2K a slap upside down his head.
Yeah, apparently. And you want to hear some of these 83s? So there's a litany of 83s, Cajun. Scotty
Okay.
Barnes, Draymond Green, Robert Williams, the third, my boy Time Lord, MPJ.
I'm gonna stop you. I'm gonna stop you right there.
Uh-oh.
Donkey from Shrek.
Donkey
Come on
from
now.
Shrek. The Donkey from Shrek. Michael Porter Jr., Clint Capella, Miles Bridges, Fred VanVleet, D'Angelo Russell, Anthony Simons, Jonas Valanciunas, as Charles Barkley once said,
Va-
but
Vaseline
Valanciunas.
sauce.
Yeah, exactly. Walker Kessler, Aaron Gordon, Keldon Johnson, Kyle Kuzma, Spencer Dinwiddie,
Dinwiddie?
Segun. I can't pronounce Segun's first name. Alpernit
Alperen Şengün.
Sengun, yeah. Malcolm Brogdon, and those are all your 83s. Barrett is an 82. I don't know, Kajan. I don't know.
I've just lost brain cells. Holy. I can't get over the fact that Murray and Poole are the same rating.
Yeah, I
Like,
don't know. I don't know who made up these ratings, but they are kind of jank. They're kind of jank. Yeah,
somebody who's been
I thought
somebody
you'd
who's been
appreciate
smoking
that.
some good stuff.
Yeah, I thought you'd appreciate that list there of
And well,
84.
speaking of lists, I don't think you're gonna appreciate the next list we're gonna be talking about. And hold up,
Uh-oh.
let me introduce this
Oh,
one
so
since
Cajun wants to go with the hosting role. You know what, Cajun? I'll sit here politely. Okay, I'll fold my fingers and go ahead.
and mind you, ladies and gentlemen, this was something that I went through on Bleacher Report. That should say it all. It's Bleacher Report. Um, so they made a list of the duos, top five duos
So best two
in the
players.
NBA. Now, from 5 to 1, number 5, Luca and Kyrie. 4 is
The duo,
LeBron.
the duo that is a losing record together
Hold
in
on, hold on, hold on,
Dallas.
hold on, Spence. I'm gonna let you go off on this because I know you are going to be pissed off. LeBron and AD are at 4. Jokic and Murray are third, which to me is ludicrous.
Well,
Giannis and
it gets
Drew.
worse.
It gets worse. Giannis and Drew Holiday,
At 2.
and then KD and Devin Booker at 1. Now, there's an honorable mentions list.
There's 3 honorable mentions, Cajun. You want to read them out to us?
Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown, Joel Embiid and James Harden, Kawhi and PG. Spencer, I've set the list. The floor is yours.
Like, what are we doing? The best duo in the NBA is Tatum and Brown. There's no one close. You know why there's no one close? Because they're the only real duo. They're the only actual duo left in the NBA. Those are not duos. Doncic and Kyrie are the only other duo you can mention that are actually a duo. And they have a losing record together in Dallas. They suck. They're 2 great players, but they suck. They're trash. They're garbage. They're no good. They're rotten. They're stinky. Kawhi Leonard and Paul George shouldn't be on an honorable mentions list. They're both cripples. Kawhi Leonard just tore his meniscus. He's done for another year. Is he even going to play next year? Paul George,
meniscus
walking
doesn't take it.
Band-Aid.
Well, maybe for Kawhi it does.
Like walking Band-Aid. Joel Embiid, walking Band-Aid. James Harden's going to be 400 pounds start of the year. He doesn't want to be in Philly. How are they a duo when one of them doesn't even want to be there anymore? How is that a thing? I already talked about the losing record of Doncic and Kyrie, who I actually like on the list. And then you got Data Davis. I swore there. I got to cuss that out now. I can't believe this. Anthony Davis. You got that bum with LeBron James crippled. You got two elderly men shooting the old folks home at 4 over Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown. Joke. Again, Doncic and Jamal. I'll take that as a duo. Jamal Murray's elevated his skill to be a duo with Nikola Jokic.
That's the one duo I will take over Tatum and Brown right now.
And then you've got Giannis and Drew Holiday? They're a duo? In what NBA? Cajun?
And we were talking about this, like it would make more plausible sense if Middleton was on there and not Holiday.
And then I'd say that Chris Middleton, as much as I like Chris Middleton, is a cripple and is a Band-Aid. So, okay. Again, it's Giannis and the other guy. Okay, that shouldn't be on the list. And then you've got KD and Booker, who we haven't even seen on the floor yet, really. They play 10, 15 games together in Phoenix? And another thing that kind of upsets me, Kajan, is they're not a duo. They're not a duo. If they hadn't made a trade as of 3 weeks ago for Bradley Beal, they'd be a duo, and I'd accept it. Not one, but I'd accept it on the list. But they have Bradley Beal now. They're a trio. They are not a duo. That is not true. That is a stretch of the truth. They're not a duo. They are a trio.
Mm-hmm.
And there you go, Cajun. It just says in the article they played 19 games together. So you're telling me 19 games of regular season and playoffs beats out how many years of Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum? How many years? 6 years? And a couple NBA finals together? Are you kidding me right now?
You mean one?
What? One NBA finals? What? Two other conference finals? At least? Plus 6 years together? You're telling me that doesn't make the list? That doesn't make the list. MVP Jason Tatum and $60 million Jaylen Brown don't make the list. Okay. Fair enough.
Oh my goodness.
Fair enough.
Well,
Joe.
Joe. The only duo I see above Tatum and Brown that you can have an argument for is Jokic and Murray, and that's because they just won the title.
And Jokic is a better player than Jason Tatum. In all fairness, as much as I love Jason Tatum, Jokic is a better player than Jason Tatum, especially offensively.
And Murray
and Brown are close, I'd say. I'm not sure which one you put ahead of them. I would argue between the two. I think it's a really close argument, but they're close. But Jokic is above Tatum, pardon me.
And Murray, for his lack of regular season success, elevates his play in the playoffs to the point where he's in that conversation. So that's the only duo I take right now over Tatum and Brown. Looking at that list,
I literally cannot believe this right now.
I can. It's Bleacher Report.
What are we doing? What are we doing?
I can wholeheartedly believe it because it's Bleacher Report and they put out horrible articles.
I'm so mad at you, Kajan, right now. And I have to bleep the show. Okay, that's the first time I've sworn on either show. Now I have to bleep myself, Kajan. I'm so mad at you right now. Okay, I'm mad.
How are you mad at me?
Bleacher Report, mad at all these dummies. This is stupid. My God.
Your first mistake is being mad at Bleacher Report.
My first mistake was reading this. I should have just said no. Once I saw them in the auto mention, said no, we're not putting this on air. We're not putting this on the network. I'm good.
Not for a good laugh? No, not to laugh at Bleacher Report?
No, absolutely not. No. Some things, Cajun, you just need to put back in the trash can. This was one of those things, Cajun. This is one of those things. We should have picked it up, looked at it, went you, and put it back.
Who would have thought that you would be the one that cussed out before me? And I cuss out a lot.
Well, I didn't know I was going to see a duos list that didn't have Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown in the top 5. I did not know that was a thing. I did not know we were underrating the best duo in the NBA. I did not know that, Cajun.
Second best.
They're the best duo. They are the best consistent duo. You give me another year of Jamal and Jokic, I'll give it to you. But they're just getting to that duo status because of all the injuries poor Jamal's been through. Tatum and Brown have been a duo. They've been a team that got drafted together years apart from Duke and Cal, I believe, respectively. So give me Jason now, 1,000%.
Take him.
I'll get behind their cage. It sounds like the whole house is coming down.
Apparently, hold on. Apparently, just like how you're in shambles about that top 5 NBA player duo. That's crazy.
And ending off with one more Bleacher, I'll say report, but one more article that thank goodness has no opinion on it because it'd be garbage like everything else. It would be Anthony Edwards got fined 50 big ones, $50K for swinging a chair and hitting 2 people after losing to the Denver Nuggets in the playoffs.
Oh my goodness.
So he got 50 large ones taken out of his pocket for swinging the chair. Edwards' attorney said did not swing the chair at anyone and of course did not intend to hurt anyone. I'd hope not, or he'd get a lot bigger fine. But anyway, he also apparently has been cited by Denver police, or was it initially cited by Denver police for third-degree assault, which is kind of funny. But the authorities dismissed the charges, obviously, so Edwards is fine. But yeah, so 50 large ones, Cajun, coming out of Ant's pocket for swinging a chair and hitting a couple people at Ball Arena down in Denver. What did you have a laugh at that story about poor Edwards losing 50 big ones? Especially what weirds me out, Cajun. I guess I'll frame the question this way. It's so long after the fact. Like that game was like what, May? Maybe April? Like why is this happening now? Seems like such a weird timing to finally find Anthony Edwards, pardon me, for this swinging of the chair, in August. It feels like such weird timing. I'm not sure, maybe that's just me, but it feels like such weird timing to me.
This should have been decided a long time ago, to be
like
honest.
Months ago, like a week or two after tops, not like 2 months after. I think that's ridiculous.
Yeah, that should have been decided a month ago. The reason why I'm chuckling is because after a certain incident in which people were scrapping and people swam just to scrap, and the folding chair was used in the process. The minute I saw chairs in that, I just had to chuckle because, like, oh man, the folding chair is going to be put up in the folding chair after what had just happened, which was the Montgomery brawl, is really going to be put up in the Hall of Fame museum. So looking at the fact that he flung chairs, and like, of course he did. Of course there was a chair that was involved, but going back on topic here, it didn't make any sense. It didn't make any sense, like, to find him now. I was like, if you're gonna find him in the first place. Like, find him when it did happen, not now. Like, it just doesn't make any sense.
The timing is definitely off on this particular fine by Adam Silver and the NBA. But now some breaking news, Cajun. So before we continue with the regularly scheduled programming, and I will get to the Scrabble board here. I have not forgotten about it. But before we get to that and our last topic, there's some breaking news. So before I do get to that breaking news, I will say the next topic will be about all the trade rumors between James Harden, Damian Lillard, even Pascal Siakam. We're going to talk about the alleged trade between the Atlanta Hawks and Toronto that didn't go through, that Toronto rejected. We'll talk about who might also be on the trading block. But before we get to that and the Scrabble board, the Phoenix Suns are retiring Amari Stoudemire's and Sean Marion's jerseys as a duo retirement and going on to the Ring of Honor. They will be the 11th and 12th players, respectively, getting into the franchise Ring of Honor. And yeah, I just thought we'd have to mention that Sean Marion and Amari Stoudemire, two players that should have brought in a ring to Phoenix, were not able to back in the mid-2000s, will now have their jerseys hanging in the rafters, Cajun.
First of all, well deserved.
Especially for Stoudemire.
Suns team that was 7 seconds or less.
Under Mark D'Antoni, the coach, and Steve Nash, Canadian.
Really brought change to the NBA as it is right now. Like, brought forward a whole new offensive revolution in the NBA. So it's well deserved. Amari, before injuries caught up to him, was an explosive power forward in his prime, throwing down thunderous dunks, and can really kill you with that soft touch from the mid range as well. Like, he really showed more of that when he signed with New York. And the Matrix, man, the do-it-all forward. The original, I would say he was one of the original do-it-all forwards that he could rebound. He could rebound for somebody that wasn't your typical tall power forward or center. And man, you had to and played exceptional defense. And man, you gotta love the catapult or shot put jumper that he had. So well deserved from the both of them. Sure, they should have had a ring. That Suns team should have had a ring, but correct me if I'm wrong, but that whole brawl that involved Robert Horry hip checking Nash kind of prevented that from happening.
Yeah, so just thought I'd mention that breaking news as we record this. It's about 6 o'clock on a today Thursday. No, today gotta be Wednesday, right? I'm not losing my mind.
Wednesday.
I was gonna say Wednesday at first, and then my brain was like, no, it's gotta be Thursday. I'm like, no, I got stuff to do Thursday. It's like they can't be true. Anyway, so I just thought I'd mention Sean Marion and Amari Stoudemire getting thrown up into the rafters, and I think we're gonna end with the Scrabble board, Cajun. I'm going to use a little bit more time to conjure up some letters for the Scrabble board. So we're going to end with, before we end, the penultimate topic. We're going to talk about this. So Damian Lillard, we've heard about the rumors with the Miami Heat. James Harden's talked about not wanting to be in Philly, which I mentioned about with the duos earlier. We've talked about Pascal Siakam a ton on the show. And before we get into who you think also could be on the trading block as a major star, Siakam almost was on the way. I won't say almost, but had a chance to go to Atlanta. The Atlanta Hawks sent out a trade that allegedly had a package of DeAndre Hunter, AJ Griffin, and some draft picks in exchange for Pascal Siakam. We don't exactly know what those draft picks would have been because of their trade last year for Jamal Murray from the San Antonio Spurs. But from a concept, Cajun, would you have liked that trade with Hunter Griffin and some draft picks coming to Toronto and Pascal going the other way? I assume you're taking over something over there, so I'll just keep.
I am muted. I was muted.
You were muted? Okay. Well, I'll rephrase the question again then. So, would you have been happy with a trade with the Atlanta Hawks if Hunter, Griffin, and some draft picks came Toronto's way?
The picks wise, yes. But Hunter and Griffin on a team where you still have Anunoby and Barnes is kind of like overlapping. That team
Still
doesn't
too many
need
wings.
Too many wings. Too many wings. You need a guard. You need a big. You need a big. And one name I would have liked to hear on that was Onyeka Okongwu. Depending on what they're doing with the Capella Okongwu situation. But I don't think Atlanta would be willing to offer him up. Now, I do like DeAndre Hunter and I do like AJ Griffin. But the situation that the Raptors are in right now, in which they have way too many wings, it doesn't really make sense. And I don't think Atlanta would do it either because of Siakam's camp. And I'm not sure. And I'm not so sure because we're saying this was a rumor, right?
Yeah, I'm saying alleged trade because obviously we'll never really know. Like even if it's reported, you never really know if that was a true trade or if that was just like a concept or what exactly that was. But from what I'm reading, that was an alleged offer from the Atlanta Hawks to the Toronto Raptors, both Hunter, Griffin, and some draft picks going to Toronto for Pascal Siakam.
So my guess is that either this never happened or this offer was made before Siakam's camp leaked that he didn't want to re-sign anywhere else other than Toronto, because to me that could mean either one. That could mean either one of those two options.
Yeah, no, Cajun, that's fair. And I've actually been reading here. One of the factors working against the Raptors amidst the trade is from multiple suitors is that Siakam won't sign an extension with a team that acquires him. What I do think is kind of interesting for him to not want to re-sign with another team that's trading for him, because I think he should know that this Raptors team is in no way ready to compete. And as a person who wants to win at almost all costs, I would rather win than be on a team for loyalty. That's just me. Like, yeah, I'm a loyal guy, but at the end of the day, I want to win. And if this team ain't going to win, then I don't want to be here. You know? And in fairness, they're probably not going to want me here because they want to lose to get good draft picks, then be able to win one day, right? So it's kind of a byproduct. So I am kind of interested that Siakam wouldn't want to sign with a team like, say, Miami or I'm trying to think of other, like Dallas, maybe like another team like that. That will not saying they could trade for him either because of the cap space problem, but just teams that would have a chance at winning a championship. You know what I mean?
But sometimes loyalty does mean something. And Siakam's already won a title. It's not like the Damian Lillard situation in which he hasn't won a title, he's been loyal all his career and now wants to win a ring. Now, obviously, winning, for the most part, winning trumps everything, but for some people, that's not exactly the case. Maybe that's the case. Maybe that's the case with Siakam that he actually kind of wants to stay in Toronto long term and wants to end his career out there. It also helps that he won a ring. Shout out to Kawhi before his knees got the better of him. Um, but some people are loyal enough that winning doesn't exactly trump everything. So this is going to be interesting to see how this all unfolds, whether he gets traded, whether he doesn't. Some people are saying it's only inevitable that he eventually gets traded. Others aren't so sure. This is going to be an interesting this is going to be an interesting scenario that the Raptors have to deal with, that the Raptors not only the front office, but the coaching staff too, with Darko Rajakovic. Like, how is he going to handle all these personalities? How is he going to handle all this in the midst of all OG and Siakam on the on the trade mill? Like, this is going to be very fascinating, intriguing, interesting, and a little concerning to see.
Yeah, and now on to the other topic, Cajun. Are there any other stars you see joining the mill of potential trade rumors with guys like James Harden, Damian Lillard, and Pascal Siakam? Do you see anybody else that are just like a star, if you will, that will join this group of players? Because Beal's already gone. Beal's one of them, and Bradley Beal's already been dealt. So his story's already set. Is there any other players you think might join the fray here going into August?
Well, for a while before, when the Hawks were making their playoff run, Trey Young's name was on there. But I think there's one big name, and everything has to go wrong for this to happen. But the way Philly's offseason has been so far, it would not shock me if Embiid demands a trade.
I think that's a next summer problem. I agree with you that I definitely feel like that partnership of Embiid and Philadelphia is on its last legs, but I think that's a next summer problem. I think it'll be next summer where he says, "I've had enough. I've kicked this can down the road long enough. I want to go somewhere else. I want a chance to win." And I don't know. On honesty, Cajun, another important question to ask of if you think Embiid is the next guy up, who trades for him? Because I'm not saying Embiid's not a great player. Embiid's not worth every penny he's paid. That he's not a top 5 player in the NBA most years. But like, who wants a back to the basket scorer like him? And yeah, he's developing a 3-point shot, which is definitely helping out his game. But like, he's got to go to a team that's going to be willing to let him be him. And I'm not sure what team that is that can afford him too, as well. Again, which is another big problem.
Hmm.
Like, could the Lakers make a swing when LeBron retires? Could the Clippers let Kawhi go because he's been so injury prone there and go for Embiid? Could Dallas find a way to make the cap work? Could, you know, I, I don't even know. Like, could Toronto try to make a run for him? Like, is that a thing?
How funny would that be? Oh
Lose
boy.
Nick Nurse to Philadelphia, pick up Joel Embiid from Philadelphia. I mean, like, we start calling them, Toronto South, basically.
Oh man. Toronto Sixers, Philly Raptors.
Basically, yeah.
Um,
Like Cage. I'll put that out there to you. Like, who do you think is a good fit for him that would be able to win, able to afford him, and could fit him into the roster properly?
call me crazy for saying this, but it wouldn't shock me based off
Oh,
of
I
like
will.
the Golden State Warriors.
Oh, come on. They can't afford him.
Yeah, but a lot of things have gone right their way over the years.
Are you trying to imply Kevin Durant here, Caden? Is that what you're doing right now? You trying to imply Kevin
KD,
Durant?
KD, the fact that Curry's $11 million a year deal was paved the way for that to happen. It wouldn't. I've seen wackier things happen. Now the cap's a big issue here, but hey, stars are teaming up to join other. Stars are teaming up together, which I don't really like. But
Caden, you want us watch the NBA explode? Watch an Embiid trade to the Golden State Warriors. That would
hasn't it?
that would explode the NBA. Like how you have arguably the best or second best center in the league, arguably the best guard in the league. You've still got Clay or Wiggins you'd expect. If not, you trade one of them, which would probably be Wiggins. Like, how do you stop that? Like, I hope you're wrong, Cajun. I'd say that. I hope you're wrong. I hope you're
I
very wrong with that.
I
With
hope
that,
I hope I am too, but I've seen crazier things
like
happen
honestly, I feel like the Raptors is a better choice for him because they
because
know
they
how to
need.
win with one guy, right? They've shown it with Kawhi. So I feel like Embiid
Mhm.
could feel like he can be the only star in Toronto and win because they've shown they can do that. Unlike a lot of other franchises who need to bring in multiple stars, like Miami, like Dallas, like other teams, like LA,
And
in fairness, right? So I feel like Toronto might be a perfect fit. It's just would Toronto accept him because of all the baggage he brings? I don't know, Casey. I don't know.
maybe Miami's another name too because of like the Jimmy Butler connection too.
That also is fair. That is fair. You definitely could sell me
Um,
on that.
and it might come down to shopping down if Miami's willing to do that, and then other people and then other players as well. That might be fit. Then traction might gain on that.
It might, and then
But
you have to assume Hero be in that deal too, because Hero seems to be again the guy that always seems to be in the mill when Miami's in for a big guy like Lillard or Beal or whatever. But
yep.
maybe he's another guy that we could say is a star, quote unquote, that will ask for a trade. Is Tyler Hero we talked about last episode? I'm sure Hero's happy, but hearing his name being in the media every week, every other week, I wouldn't.
hmm
That's maybe just me.
But going back to like the original question that you were asking, like you're saying Embiid is a next summer problem. For this summer, you might you might gag or smile depending on the thought of this. Carl Anthony Towns. I think
I
he's
think that
expendable there.
I think that's a loose. I think that's a very loose term of a star. I think it's a very loose term. That's all I have to say to that.
And
Very
technically,
loose term.
hey, there's a lot of stars in the league that aren't stars.
Like Anthony Edwards is a star. Carl Anthony Towns ain't no star.
I mean, he is.
He's at best. He's at best a falling star. Dear Lord.
Well, from there, from behind the arc.
And from behind the bench, behind the parking lot, more like. Anyway, now to end it off, Cajun, at almost an hour, we've got the Scrabble board. I finally been able to
All right.
compile up my names. And again, if you didn't know, the Scrabble board is based on when Cage and I were in college and we'd have our radio roundtable shows. Every time I had Cajun in my group, didn't matter if he was producing or on the panel. If I was hosting, I would always say Cajun, my favorite Scrabble board name, Theru Thinny Castelum. And welcome in.
Come on
And it
now.
just became a running gag from then on forward for me. So welcome into the Scrabble board. So Cajun, are you ready? I got 5 names today. I'm a little heavy. 5 names. Are you ready?
Okay, I'm ready.
HSITE. They're all kind of short, so they should be pretty easy to get across.
HSA.
ITE. I'm not sure if I said I, but I meant I.
ITE.
There's no A. Make sure I said that. There is no A. It is SHITE.
SHITE.
Oh, wait. Pardon me. Switch the H in the yes
Daniel
way I wrote it, but
Tice?
that's the way. It is Danny Tice. You are right. Daniel Tice is the name. You are right. You
Okay.
are very much correct. So that is 1 for 1 today. Make sure I keep track of that right now. Next one is Vaeers.
Austin Reeves?
It is Austin Reeves. Austin Reeves, a part of the U.S. team after they beat Puerto Rico in their first game at the World Cup exhibition. Are you ready for the next one? So this one
Yep.
is rather easy. DWAE.
Dwayne Wade.
It
About
would
to be
be
named to the Basketball Hall of Fame.
it would be Dwayne Wade. And then the other name in this article, IREPEC.
Oh, the great Paul Pierce, who's better than Dwayne Wade.
It is the great Paul Pierce as those two continue to bicker on a line. So that makes you 4 for 4, Cajun. Are you ready to try for 5 for 5? Now, this name is very much a name of either you get it or you don't. I didn't
All
want to
right.
put this. I didn't want to put this name on here, but I like the story, so I thought we'd add it here with this one. So you're ready. LREULT. LT. Make sure you put the T at the end.
Wait, so LREULT?
Yeah. All you gotta do is add a T to the end, and you're good. I'm just gonna copy it into our doc to make sure I did not say it wrong. That's the way I spelt it in my little doc.
The only last name that I could see makes sense out of all this would be Tuller.
It is not Tuller. I will give you a hint. He is currently playing in the G League for Detroit. If that gives you any hope. Add it.
Hmm.
He is a D3 Player of the Year award winner, averaging 27 points a game. He just made the news of the NBA website because he could be the first blank
Oh, wait,
in the
wait, wait,
NBA.
wait, 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 wait. Jewish.
Yes, he is. Do you have
Ryan
his name?
Terrell?
Ryan Terrell Cajun. You got it. You're 5 for 5 this week. That one does surprise me, Cajun. That one does surprise me. You got that one. So 5 for 5
I
this
do
week. You
remember
are.
I do remember seeing it, and I do remember he was on the Pistons, and his story came to light in the wake of Kyrie Irving's anti-Semitic comments. So I did remember who he was. I was just trying to figure out what his name was.
Ryan Terrell could become the first Orthodox Jewish player in the NBA. Currently playing again for the Motor City Cruise, the G League affiliate of the Detroit Pistons. He played at the D3 level for Yeshiva University. I assume that is a Jewish university. He averaged 27 points a game, winning, as I mentioned, the D3 National Player of the Year award. His 2023 G League stats were 12 minutes a game. He shot 42% from the floor, 30% from three, and averaged almost 4 points a game. So we'll see if he is able to make the NBA. He is 6'7" too, so he's pretty big. So he should get a chance, especially with this good 3-point shooting in college, averaging almost 45% from three at the college level. Again, D3, but still college level. So yeah, I just thought I'd mention it here at the end. Ryan Terrell could become the first Orthodox Jew in the NBA, first Orthodox Jewish player in the National Basketball Association. So I thought we mentioned that there at the end, Kate. A nice little story we get to mention. And the other story I did mention kind of is the Paul Pierce versus Dwayne Wade. Dwayne Wade responded to Paul Pierce's comments, and I'm not sure what Paul Pierce said, but Dwayne said, I'm living rent free. I'm assuming that's in Paul Pierce's head. So, oh yeah, there you go. Listen, rent is expensive in America. I'm living rent free right now. So let him keep, I assume, talking. I like living rent free. So,
I don't know. I don't.
obviously,
Hey man, hey man. I don't know. I don't know what he's talking about, but I got Pierce over Wade.
I mean, I'm a
Come on now.
Celtics fan, so I'm not going to argue with that. I'll take the truth. I'll take Paul Pierce.
Oh man. Hey,
Oh,
any.
I think I found what the problem was.
What?
Paul Pierce made the argument that if he had teammates of the caliber of Wade for as long as he did, he would have more titles next to his name. Put Shaquille O'Neal on my team. Put LeBron James on my team, and Bosh on with me. You know, I'm not gonna win all, not want to win one. You don't think me, LeBron, Bosh, we're not gonna win one? So yeah, pour pour the truth. Little salty still of the legacy of Dwayne Wade. You know,
Okay,
so
see, hands would have to be thrown if that's the case, though. Like I see why Wade reacted that way.
you
But
know,
he also did have KG and Ray, albeit at the back prime of their back end of their careers.
yeah,
But
yeah,
that
there you
has,
go. And it's what he actually
but
on that point, Cage. Before you continue, he even said that. And then I got to play with KG, Kevin Garnett, and Ray Allen past their prime. 4 years earlier, you put me, Ray, KG together. You think we're not walking away with 3 ships? Question mark. Obviously, Paul Pierce thinks a lot of duo or trios or duos he would have had.
I said you know what he should have mentioned
What?
if he didn't have a coach like Doc Rivers.
Yeah, if he would have had Pat Riley, who knows? As an executive and as a coach.
Because there's no way during those 6 years together that they only had one chip. You don't think like, and at that time Doc Rivers was known as a good NBA coach. Now after the numerous 3-1 blown leads, he's kind of been exposed to that degree.
Well, not only that, it's all the things that happened in LA, all the things that happened in Philly, even the ending in Boston. Like it's really sputtered for him in the last few years or so.
So you don't think if he had a good coach and like with that roster, I'm like, would there be a different story? Who knows? But the fact that Peterson and Wade are beefing is just like it's funny to see. What does Bleacher Report do like in a what if scenario? Put them in the portal and see who wins from that.
Yeah, there you go. Throw him in 2K and see what happens in 2K in a one-on-one.
Hey man, ain't nobody blocking that jump shot of Pierce's. Actually, wait, it's 2K. They might.
Yeah, but wait, it's 2K. Who knows? Who knows? But I think that's it for Polar Opposites. I'm Spencer Byers, and for Cajun Thiru Thani Castle. I'll make sure I say it again for effect. Cajun Thiru Thani Castle. I'm Spencer Byers. Thank you so much for tuning in to episode number 7 of Polar Opposites.
Later.